with any luck, we are back online. So this is, I guess, part 2. My name is Andrew, and this is part 2 of following this guy called Andrew, his part 3 of a Blender beginner tutorial. We're making a donut. And so yes, I just had to quickly go and say hello to my girlfriend who came home, and now we can continue. So let's see. We were making a donut. Where were we up to? Let's jump back a little bit and follow along. So we just deformed it. I think we're about to add the icing.
If you don't have the number pad, you can just click up here, these little axes here. That's how you can look side on, front on, etc. Or, as I mentioned before as well, for people that don't have a number pad, the tilde hotkey, that key underneath escape, that also has this little pie menu, so you can go top, right, left. Or, there's actually a fourth way you could do it. This is the same hotkey, I believe, as ZBrush, but if you hold down Alt and then middle mouse drag, like if I drag up or if I drag to the right or left, it'll just snap you to the closest axis view, which is, there you go, there's 4 ways to do it now in Blender. There used to just be one, number pad, right? But anyways, Blender's more accessible now, where we invite all colors into Blender now. The touch devices and styluses and everything. All right, so I'm looking front on right now. Now I want to select half the mesh, but I can't because I'm not able to see through it. So you can do that by going to the top there. There's a mode called X-ray mode. So X-ray, right? The hotkey for that, by the way, if you want, is Alt-Z. Alt-Z will just toggle between that mode there. So with that there done, now I can drag a box over it, and you can see I've selected the top half of my donut. So I want it to be the top half. Like you could go like that, but I want to make the icing. There's going to be like dribbling icing in the next part of it.
So let's see. We've scruffed up our donut. Now let's see. We want to front on, and I missed the hotkey. So I want it to be the top half, like you could go like that, but I want to make the icing, there's going to be like dribbling on it. Right. The hotkey for that, by the way, if you want, is Alt-Z. Alt-Z.
Will just toggle between that mode there. So with that there done, now I can drag a box over it, and you can see I've selected the top half. So I want it to be the top half, like you could go like that, but I want to make the icing, there's going to be like dribbling icing in the next part.
Probably figure out which button it is.
Top half, like you could go between that mode there. So with that there done, now I can drag a box over it,
so
and I've selected the top half of my donut.
Let's check that we've got that. So this is X-ray. It'd be nice if it showed the shortcut key on this tooltip. That would be handy. So we're going to select this part. Let's use that. All right, let's see what he says.
I want it to be the top half, like you could go like that, but I want to make the icing, there's going to be like dribbling icing in the next part. Next video, we'll do the dribbling bit, but for now, just want to select the top part. So I want to duplicate this. So to do that, the hotkey is Shift D for duplicate. And when you do that, you'll notice immediately after that, it's duplicated and it's now following your cursor. Now I don't want to click right now because then that will just place it randomly here. I want to cancel its movement. So I want to snap it back to where it was because I want it to be just resting on the donut. So I can do that by hitting escape or by right clicking. Either of those functions will cancel a movement and it will now snap it back to its original location. So it's duplicated and it's now resting on top of the donut. So straight after that, I want to immediately make it its own object. So to do that, the hotkey is P. P for part of it to be separated. I don't know why it's P. It's been P forever. But P for penguin. That's a good way to remember it. I don't know why I said that. We got to select selection. Okay, selection. All right. So now that I've done that, if you exit out edit mode into object mode with tab, by the way, you can see we have 2 objects. Ta-da! And by the way, we haven't talked about the outliner, but it's this section in the top right-hand corner. It actually displays all of your objects. So if you click this little drop down, you'll see all the objects that are currently in your section. So we've now got 2 objects called torus. So actually, this is a good point. We should probably give them names right now. So I can double click this and I can call it icing. The other way, by the way, you can rename something is at any point right here. It's the same hotkey as you rename a file in Windows, which is F2. So at any point, like where your mouse is somewhere, you want to give something a quick name. F2 is how you can name it. Let's call it donut, and you can see it's now given the name up there in the outliner, icing and donut. Just a quick thing, by the way, when we duplicated this, there's going to be some people following this tutorial that, and just ignore this if you didn't do this, but some people are stuck right now because after they duplicated the icing, they right-click and then they click something else, and now you have a horrible problem. The worst problem ever. You can see you've got mesh that is intersecting other mesh, and you don't know how to select part of the mesh, like the mesh that's on top of it. And it's the worst problem. Worse than Hitler. No. If you have
God, your sense of humor, Andrew.
Control L. If you've got like one vertex selected, Control L will select all of its connected vertices. So I'm saying this because some people will be stuck at this point, and they'll be like, I can't continue.
That's handy to know. Let's
Anyways,
try it.
And now we've got our donut and our icing. Okay, so it's now sitting on top. Hooray for us.
Cool.
By the way, this is my 3rd time recording this video, so I accidentally haven't done this. But when you, by default, this is what you'll see. No, one more. There we go. When you try to zoom into your donut, you'll see that it's like half. It's like cutting into your donut, and it's very annoying. It's just because the clipping amount for Blender, like as a default, is set like quite high, like at the start clipping, which means that because Blender's designed to work for like large scale scenes, and we're working at like 10 centimeters right now, really small. So this, I'm pushing N for Nelly. Nothing to do with properties, but it brings up the property sidebar.
Okay.
And drag that out.
So now we know how to get this thing on and off. So click that and drag it out. Yep, gotcha. And to get rid of it, it actually does fall all the way down if we do it. That's not great design, guys, but I'll take it.
Anyways, clipping start. I just want to change that to 0.001. And now when I zoom into the donut, it doesn't clip, so we can actually get in close.
All right, so we did that before.
I'll hide that again. Okay, so I want to give it some thickness. The donut is paper thin. It is a paper yarmulke, and we want to give it thickness. So there's a modifier for that. So if you go to the modifier stack, by the way, I discovered someone in the comments mentioned spanner and wrench are the same thing. Today I learned. So, icing. Make sure your icing selected, and we're going to go add modifier up here, and the one we're looking for is called solidify. What this does is it gives thickness to any mesh.
Solidify
So
modifier.
it's now given thickness to it. And you can see that. It's now a super, super thick.
Okay, so we've... Okay, it's kept the other thing.
It's currently facing inwards, so that icing is pushing into the mesh itself. So this is offset value here. If I drag that...
solidify modifier.
all the way up, it's now facing outwards. But it's too thick, obviously, unless it's pushing into the mesh to it. And you can see that. It's now a super, super thick icing. It's currently facing inwards, so that icing is pushing into the mesh itself.
Hang on. I turned off shade smooth. I kind of want it to shade smooth again. Select the right object. There we go. Okay.
So there's this offset value here. If I drag that all the way up, it's now facing outwards. Facing inwards, so that icing is pushing into the mesh itself. So there's this offset value here. If I drag that all the way up, it's now facing outwards. But it's too thick.
Okay, so offset. No, I hid the thing to test it. So set -1, offset 1. Okay, so right. Why would I not want it 0? Okay. All right, let's see what happens.
Obviously, unless you wanted a crazy amount of icing, like they do for like cream cheese on bagels, right? It's just like, here's a kilo of cream cheese on a bagel. Too much. So what I want to do, just change this thickness amount to something reasonable. So I'll just type in, I don't know, 0.002. We'll give you 2 millimeters of icing. Maybe I'll add a 5 again. It looks nice if it's like a juicy, thick icing on top. It's so gross.
Okay.
Idea. All right. So one final thing before we get to the next video. Hey, we're making good time. I want to move because you can see like on the edge here, like that's a hard edge for that icing. You can cut your teeth on that edge there. It's a hard material, and that's because what we've got is the subsurf modifier. It's smoothing it out, but it's doing that first, and then it's doing the solidify step after it, and it's giving it a hard right angle edge. So I want
that's much better.
So it works top to bottom. So I'm just going to hit the up arrow. Now it's solidify first, and now we've got a rounded edge for that icing there.
Yeah.
And for us, cool. So we will in the next part of this tutorial, we will go in and edit it, and we'll actually start to make it look droopy, like it's dribbling.
Okay, that's exciting. We want droopy icing, but it's just a bit weird the way that can I pan the camera around like this? Like it's not touching the thing. I mean, maybe that's fine. See, I feel like I suppose those vertices are touching the thing. It's just this final one that's not. Weird. Huh. Okay. We're sort of getting a feel for what that is like. Let's carry on.
Down a little bit. So go ahead, click here towards the next video, and I'll see.
All right, let's watch part
this
4.
We are going to be making our icing look less like a hat and more like icing which dribbles down. So I'm in edit mode on my icing here, and first thing to note is that because we added the solidify modifier in the last step, you can't see most of this mesh. So with the solidify modifier, if we just uncheck that last box, it'll just disable it whilst you're in edit mode. So in object mode and rendering mode, you'll still see it, which is good because that's what you
uncheck the last
uncheck
box.
that last box. It'll just disable it.
Edit mode. Okay, right. Because now I'm in it. Wait. That's solidify. That one. Okay, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. I want that one, and I want it off in edit mode. I want to be in edit mode, and then turn it off. Okay, that'll work.
Whilst you're in edit mode. So in object mode and rendering mode, you'll still see it, which is good because that's what you need it, but it'll be disabled in edit mode, so that's good. So we want to make like this part of the mesh, like we want to dribble it down, but we don't have enough of these vertices, these little dots, we don't have enough of those to add detail. So what I want to do is I'm going to select the mesh by hitting A, that's how you select all in Blender, or Alt-A will deselect everything, by the way, and that is a common shortcut, whether you're in object mode, select all, Alt-A, or edit mode, select all, Alt-A. It's a widely used shortcut. Anyway, so I'm going to select everything, and what the heck did I just do then? Okay, select everything, and then I'm going to right-click on the mesh, and the top option there is subdivide. So what that has done, is it has, for every square that was there before, it has added in 4 squares in. So it has doubled the amount of detail of our icing here. It's basically doing what the subsurf modifier added in 4 squares in its mesh, and the top option there is subdivide. Okay. So what that has done, is it has, for every square that was there before, it has added in 4 squares in. So it has doubled the amount of detail of our icing here. It's basically doing what the subsurf modifier is doing, like it's smoothing it out, but it's doing it on a mesh level instead of like as an after step for rendering. Getting a little complicated. But anyways, you can see we've got double the amount of detail. Now before we do anything else, in the bottom corner, you'll see you've got subdivide. And there's a couple of options here, like you can increase the number of cuts and get more and more detail. But one cut is fine for what we needed. The one thing we do want to change is you'll see like it's double the detail, but it's still jagged, right? And that's not a good look. We want it to be smooth. So we want it to also, for each detail, we want it to like average out the faces. So turn up the smoothness to 1, and you can see that that edge there is now nice and smooth. Great. So that's how we're looking in object mode right now. Okay, so now we have enough detail, and you can see that if we were to grab one of these vertices here, vertex, vertex, the people in the comments are like, you keep using the wrong term. I swear it's...
Okay, so A, and hang on.
The one thing we do want to change is you'll see like it has double the detail, but it's still jagged, right? And that's not a good look. We want it to be smooth. So we want it also, for each detail, we want it to like average out the faces. So turn up the smoothness to 1, and you can see that edge there.
Okay, so let's try that again. So A, and then subdivide, smoothness is 1. So here we can see that happening there. Very good. Good, now we click away to make that happen.
Is now nice and smooth. Great, so that's how we're looking in object mode right now. Okay, so now we have enough detail, and you can see that if we were to grab one of these vertices here, vertex, vertex, the people in the comments are like, you keep using the wrong term. I swear it's vertices for plural, vertex, singular, and I stand by that. I don't know. If I was to grab a single vertex here, and I was to pull it down, and I want to use proportional editing for this, I want to keep that turned on. But if I was to do that, you can see the rest of the icing comes with it, and I really only just want that edge there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that edge there, and this is a common shortcut, and I'm throwing shortcuts at you like it's... Rice it away, I don't know where that's from, but it's Alt and left click. Okay, so if you're on an edge there, just hold down Alt and then left click, and you're selecting an edge. That's the whole. You can select the whole loop like that as well, like the whole loop, or in this case, yeah, just the whole edge, right?
Sorry, which key was that?
Rice it away, I don't know where that's from, but
yes,
it's Alt left click. Okay, so if
Alt
you're
left
on an edge
click.
there, just hold down Alt and
To select a loop, Alt left click. Selects the loop. Okay, loop select seems useful. Good.
left click, and you're selecting an edge. That's the whole. You can select the whole loop like that as well, like the whole loop, or in this case, yeah, just the whole edge, right? So with that selected there, I'm going to invert my selection, which you could do by going to select invert, or you can just remember the hotkey, which is Control I. And then another hotkey is hide. So I'm going to temporarily hide this by hitting H.
Okay.
To bring that back, it's Alt H, and then H is hiding. So it's just temporarily taking it away so that you don't affect it, right? Okay, so we finally got an edge with enough detail that we can start adding in detail. So what I'm going to...
All right, let's try that. So Alt left click, and then is it I for invert? No. What's invert? Invert. Tell me what invert is. Okay, don't crash. Don't you dare crash. Good. Alright, so now it seems like a good time to try the search. The search does nothing.
Affected, right? Okay, so Alt H, and then H is hiding. So it's just temporary, which you could do by going to select invert, or you can just remember the hotkey, which is Control I.
Okay, it's Control I, but there's select invert. Good to know. So select invert, and then try again. Select invert, and is it what, like view? I mean, there's no menu that we can find for it. Fine. Let's try again. Control I to invert. Didn't invert it. Okay. Let's try this again. Select invert. Okay, it's Control I. What was I hitting? Shift I or something, and then hide those. Okay, now we can proportionally edit it.
And then another hotkey is hide. So I'm going to temporarily hide this by hitting H. Okay. To bring that back, it's Alt H, and then H is hiding. So it's just temporarily taking it away so that you don't affect it, right? Okay, so we finally got an edge with enough detail that we can start adding in detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of these little one singular vertex, and I am going to move it down. Okay, now one thing you'll note is that when you do this, if you were to move it down using proportional editing as well, it'll start through the donut. And you could move around and then pull that part out, etc. That's very fiddly. It would be great if the vertices stuck to the mesh underneath it. And we can do that by going up here. There is a snapping option. So you can snap by turning that on, and we want to change what it snaps to. By default, it's increments, which means that it'll stick to singular grid floors, right? Which is definitely not what we need. We instead want to change it to face. So snap to face. And then if I pull it down, you'll see that it is sticking to the face. But I don't want just that to stick to the face. I want all of them to stick to the face. So I'm going to select project individual elements. And then when I do that, all of the vertices that are being affected are going to be sticking to the underlying face underneath it. And that's what we want. Yay!
Okay, let's see if that works. It does nothing. Okay, that's because we hadn't actually turned it on. Now it does something. Okay, good. I have to have my icing out. Whoop. I'm already getting used to this. I'm hitting, G for grab like a friggin' boss. A nice big dribble there, and I broke it real bad. Whoops. Let's try that, because it presumed that thing is per thingy thing. I assume the thing is per thingy thing. Thingity thing. I might have to do the loop above it as well. Let's see what happens. Let's try and make that happen. So how do I unhide Andrew? Andrew, tell me.
Okay, so let's do that a couple of times. Let's just go around it. And you'll notice also there are different types of proportional fall-off. Like, for example, if you would use sharp, then you would get kind of like that kind of like detail, right? So that can be kind of cool, depending on what sort of thing you want. So here's the thing, like this step is actually kind of, it's a little bit fiddly because you can, without, if you're not careful, you can get kind of like repetitive looking icing, right? Like, like it just looks a little bit too machined, like a little bit too, I don't know what the term is. Like, it doesn't look natural. That's the term. So anyways, that's pretty good. Okay, well, it's okay for now. What I want to do now, though, is like, this is like okay for like the overall, like just the edge of an icing, like being just a little bit jagged. But I also want to create some parts that are like dribbling down. Because if there's one thing I've learned...
So, okay, so one thing that he didn't really explain here, and that is that this this snap to face thing is camera based. So if I'm like slightly like this and I start proportionally editing something, it just really messes up. So I have to make sure that I'm sort of front on. Nice big dribble here, I like it. Yeah. I mean, okay. That's not bad. Let's try and move some of these bits. Whoa. Let's not do that. I'm going to grab that, and grab that. Okay. All right, let's keep following.
From looking at Google Images, donuts on Google Images, is that, yeah, a lot of them have like dribbled down icing. I mean, to be fair, I think like the more commercial it is, the more I think they sort of dip it in a thing, and then it's like a cloggy kind of icing, so that it doesn't dribble as much. Like it does look kind of like a hat. You can do that if you want, but I just want to make it look a little bit like more delectable, like something you want to like, ooh, I want to eat that, right?
Yep.
So I just want to make parts of it that are like dribbling down.
Give me the dribbling.
In a couple of areas on here, what I want to do is I want to select 2 vertices, and then, like if I was to like drag that down, you see that we don't have enough detail here, right? Because like parts of it are now sticking through because it's going to be, and don't copy what I'm doing now, but I'm just showing you like that's a huge face there, so part of it is like clipping through the donut. So I don't want to do that. What I do want to do is I want to select 2 vertices, and then I'm going to hit E. So this is a new hotkey for you, but this is extrude. And now if I pull that down, it hasn't moved those two vertices there. They're staying the same, but it's created 2 new ones, and it's pulled them down. So it's now basically creating another face. And now if I was to bring back the rest of the mesh, that is how it looks. Oops, right there. And if you were to, obviously, the reason you're seeing that part is because the rest of it's hidden, right? Because we temporarily hid it. But that's kind of what I want to do. So I'm just going to create, you don't want to do this too much, because this is actually, coming to the artistic eye and everything like that. I want to help you guys make a good looking donut. In this case, I grabbed 3, you'll see. Like if you do things repeatedly without, like you want to give emphasis to things. Emphasis, what am I talking about? Do you want to make parts of it that stand out from the rest? If you just did like there to there, and then did there to there, and then there to there, and did like dribbles all the way around it in even increments, it would just look fake. So you want to do it kind of randomly. So yeah, somewhere there. I'm sort of picking an area which is like already slightly like pulling down to kind of, yeah, like you're basically creating the look of, it was weighty icing, and that part had too much weight to it, and so it actually dribbled down the edge there. So this part here I'll grab as well. I'll grab 3 of these and I'll pull them down. And by the way, I'm using S to scale. So I've got 3 vertices there and I'm just scaling, right? So this is why it's good to know those hotkeys, G, R, and S that I mentioned at the start there, because it's used everywhere. That's the good thing about Blender is once you've learned the hotkeys, they are applicable whether you're looking at nodes, whether you're in edit mode, object mode, it's all basically the same GIS there. They're kind of everywhere. Unlike the Adobe suite, which has got like Photoshop, After Effects, Illustrator, they've all got like all different hotkeys and it drives me insane. It's like, you're the same company. Why can't you just like, let's have a company meeting. Let's figure this out. Anyway, Adobe. So I'm going to just keep doing this a couple more times. Yeah, all right. Maybe one more here. 1, 2, 3. That's a little bit too... predictable, that's the word I was looking for. Predictable. You don't want it to look predictable because real dribbling icing would not look predictable. But there we go, right? Okay, so I hope this step wasn't too confusing for you, but even if you can't do the extruding step, it's, it's still going to be okay. You're still going to be all right. Your icing's going to look fine. Really, we're just trying to make it look a little bit more random than just a hat sitting on top. Now, the next step, we will actually do, like, sculpting, and we will, like, add in, like droplets, like make these things look less weird than they currently do. We'll get to that next. But one final thing before we get to the next part is you'll see that like the edge of this like drip here, like all the way around, like it's kind of like it's wrapping into itself, even though I don't think real icing would look like that. Like this part here wouldn't be like a complete glob unless it was like just wet and it just formed. You would see that kind of rolling fall off there. Anyway, what I'm saying is right here on this solidify thing, we can actually create a crease on the inner part of it, and it will make it look like it's hugging the donut underneath it a lot better. And immediately when you do that,
so
once it was like
what are we doing?
All the way around, we'll get to that next, sculpting, and we will like.
So I missed some stuff there.
Let's have a company meeting. Let's figure this out. Anyway,
right. Bashing Adobe, good plan.
Doing this a couple more times. Yeah, Yeah, all right. Maybe one more here. 1, 2, 3. That's a little bit too predictable. That's the word I was looking for. Predictable. You don't want it to look predictable because real dribbling icing would not look predictable. But there we go, right? Okay, so
Right. I'm pretty happy with my icing.
You can't do the extruding step. It's it's still going to be okay. He's still going to be all right. Icing's going to look fine. Really, we're just trying to make it look a little bit more random than just a hat sitting on top. Now, the next step we will actually do like sculpting, and we will like add in like droplets, like make these things look less weird than they currently do. We'll get to that next. But one final thing before we get to the next part is you'll see that like the edge of this drip here, like all the way around, like it's kind of like it's wrapping into itself, even though I don't think real icing would look like that. Like this part here wouldn't be like a complete blob unless it was like just wet and it just formed. You would see that kind of rolling fall off there. Anyway, what I'm saying is right here on this solidified thing, we can actually create a crease on the inner part of it, and it will make it look like it's hugging the donut underneath it a lot better. And immediately when you do that, the icing looks to a crease.
He just hit a button,
and it will make it look like it's hugging the donut.
Crease. Now to guess what he's hitting because you know video resolution for some reason is atrocious. Can I force this to something sensible? Maybe this will be better.
Anyway, what I'm saying is right here on this solidified thing.
Crease inner. Okay, let's try and get that going. Crease inner. I mean, I guess. I don't know what I want to set it to. Just won't set it all the way because it looks pretty nice there. Let's keep going with that for now.
On the inner part of it, and it will make it look like it's
just cranks that up
better. And immediately when you do that, the icing looks just immediately way better. So there we go. All right, so that's it for this part. It looks okay. In the next part, we're going to do some sculpting. So I will see you in that video once you click it. See you there.
All right, let's just go with the. What does outer crease do? Yeah, we don't want that. Rim. Ooh. Maybe we want to give it a bit of a rim job here. Nah. Okay. Yeah, let's leave rim out of it as well. Can I, view the whole thing? Looking good, looking donutty. All right, let's move on to the next tutorial part.
This video series is brought to you by Polygon. Make their renders faster. Something fun. We are going to be, I mean, working with the donut should be fun enough, but
it is pretty fun.
We're going to be making both the donut and the icing on it look more shapely. So we're going to use sculpting to make this part look gloopy and like real icing.
Now this is a part that I've plugged my tablet in for, so hopefully it works.
The only detail we have is what is available to us in edit mode. Like if we're sculpting on a donut, this is all the detail we have. So really, we want to have a lot more detail than what we've got currently. So over here in your modifier section, we've got the subdivision modifier, and there's a button we can apply it. And if we hit apply, it'll apply that detail to our donut. But before I do that, it's a good idea to have a copy of what it is before you're going to apply it, just in case you need to go back. And I say this from like years of using Blender. Like you hit apply on something, you can't go back. By the way, like a modifier, it's there and you can revisit it at any time. But once it's applied, it's like.
I'm gonna try and save this right now. Just save as. Well, we're bring it off the main desktop while I'm browsing the file system, just because. Just in case anything NDA'd is on there. Any top secrets. Just going to save it in my documents for now, which I never normally use, but donut.blend. I think it's .blend. Save as Blender file. Cool. All right, let's bring it back.
Done. So that's why I think it's a good idea to keep a copy of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both my donut and my icing. I'm going to hit Shift D, and that's created. Oh, if you see it snapping like this, by the way, that's because your snapping tool is still turned on. So anyways, I have duplicated it, and you can see up here we've now got 2 donuts and 2 icings. And I'm going to select my donut and my icing, and I'm going to hit M. So M is going to move it to a collection. So collections are at the top here. We can see we've got a collection, just the default collection. So what I want to do is I want to move it to a new collection, and then I'm going to hide that collection. So donut, my donut 001 and whatever donut icing 001. I'm going to move those to a new collection like this, and I'm going to call this archive. I call it archive, just keep it out of the way, and then I'll call it original, just in case I want to come back to them. And then I'm going to, on this new collection here, I'm just going to uncheck that box next to it. So now I've still got my donut and icing, but if I want to, I can access another version of them. So that's just a way of, safety precaution.
Okay.
Okay, so
cool. We've backed up.
On first. I'm going to hit apply on my subdivision surface. And there we go. We've got all this detail here to work with. So now, if I go to sculpting, so along the top navigation bar there, sculpting, zoom in a bit. Now we've got this. So we are in sculpt mode.
Okay. Right, let's try and do this. Let's make the sculpting happen. So we got this. We've got a subdivision surface modifier. Let's hit apply. Is that enough detail? No, because he increased it to 2.
So now I've still got my donut and icing, but if I want to, I can access the version.
Let's
that's just
undo that.
Safety precaution for you. Okay, so with my donut here select, this is the one that we're going to sculpt on first. I'm going to hit apply on my subdivision surface. And then
All right, so if we hit apply, then all of a sudden we've got a lot of vertices to work with, which is what we want. Now this is the part where we make sure that we have the tablet working, hopefully. So let's see what it does.
We've got all this detail here to work with. So now, if I go to sculpting, so that
Sculpting?
part there, sculpting, zoom in a bit.
Zoom in, yeah.
So we are in sculpt mode.
Okay.
And
now we have to do that thing where we fix the camera. I'm sure he'll whinge about it too in a moment. That'll do. I think I grab there and drag it off. We're learning. Tutorial's working.
The hotkey you should remember, which has been turned off for some reason, there we go, is F if you want to change the size of your brush. And the hotkey you should remember, which sculpting, zoom in a bit. Now we've got this. So we are in sculpt mode. And the hotkey you should remember, which has been turned off for some reason, there we go, is F. If you want to change the size of your brush, it is F. And there's also like, okay, where's the other settings for your brush? So if for some reason it's disabled, I'm pretty sure it's like a future version of Blender will have it enabled by default. But if you right click one of these buttons here and then along the header, where it says header, just go show tool settings, then you'll actually get the settings that really should be there from the start. So I don't know why it's not there by default, but that's how you bring it in if you can't see it. Anyways, now that I've got this, yeah, I can change my radius there, and I can also change my strength. Hey, thank you for the reminder, Spider. It's always at the wrong time. Okay, now if I was to just draw on my mesh, you can see that we are sculpting. We're pulling parts of the mesh out, but you'll notice we're also pulling another part of the mesh out. The reason for that is that by default X symmetry mirror is turned on, so it's useful if you're sculpting a face, but
symmetry.
it's very annoying. So I'm turning that off. And now when I sculpt, you can see
we got sculpting. Good.
If I was to go into edit mode just to show you, it's pulled that out. That's exactly what it's doing right now. All it's doing is it's taking mesh and it is deforming it in a way that's appropriate for sculpting. So you might wonder what's the difference between sculpting and edit mode. I mean, not a lot. Like you could do this next step like in edit mode and do proportional editing and all that kind of thing. But it's just different ways of working. Like some ways, especially when we do like the deforming of the gluey bits of the icing, it's just easier to do with sculpting. Now, in the case of our donut, what we're going to do is we want to make it look like, because basically the way donuts are made is they come out of a fryer. I actually filmed it. Actually, I went to a donut shop and filmed it. It comes out of a fryer, like it sits in a deep fryer and it sits there bubbling, and then they flip it over, and then the other side, basically the part that is like floating like along the level part of the donut is it's uncooked. It's less cooked than the rest of it, so it's usually like the parts around it are sticking out a little bit more than the middle. So essentially, I'm trying to find a photo of this.
Let's take a few seconds to try and set up my tablet. Annotate? No. So that's draw, sculpt mode. We're in sculpt mode. This is the sculpting thing. Okay, let's see if the tablet picks up and if we can do strength on the tablet. So let's reset that to 0.5, which is what it was. And we got the old Penna McDoodle. Tablet McFriend. And try and sculpt this. Can I? Yeah. Okay, so it works. Now, is it just picking up? If I touch gently, if I touch very strongly. Alright, let's try this again. So if I touch it gently, and if I touch it hard, how on earth do I tell if this is picking up tablet pressure? I mean, options. Okay. Let's have a look at preferences and see if it can actually even see my tablet. Input, tablet API, automatic. Is there any way to verify this is the tablet and not the mouse? I mean, I suppose I can turn the mouse tablet off. Can I? Maybe. It's just really hard to tell if there's pressure or not. I want to see it. Oshi's tooltips told you the key to press. Is there a way to do that? Let's have a look at the preferences for that as well. Navigation. No. Interface. Tooltips. It's not really helping. I mean, alright, we'll just leave that as is because it doesn't look like it's going to do anything useful. Let's try and turn off the bloody icing so I can actually work. Okay, let's see. We'll try very light strokes now. Very hard strokes. That looks like pressure's working. So, and that's all I really need to know. Okay. Okay, so that's the same motion, and yeah, you can quite clearly see the pressure's working. Okay, so what does he do? I think he just draws it around the edge of it. What other controls have I got on this thing? I don't really need to mess with strength, and then so what's that? I'm clicking buttons on the mouse while I do this. So that's zoom for some ungodly reason. And if I turn this over, okay, it does the opposite effect, so it's dug into the donut. Good. So the tablet seems to be working. I'm not thrilled with the inputs. This is sculpt context menu is right click, and then what is this? This is like middle click. God, so awful. And are these just coming straight off the tablet input? Can I like shift click or anything? Like if I no control seems to be undo, so and then shift is soft, maybe alt seems to be select. Okay, so I got right click on here as well. And this is probably like middle click. No? Oh man. Let's just look at the preferences. So click and right click is pretty useless, honestly. If I turn on touch, can I like pan around? That'd be so cool if I could pan around with like multi-touch, but doesn't seem to do the trick. So, I mean, all right, let's just have to move between the mouse and the tablet. I'm sure if we were doing this professionally, we could figure out a better way to do this, but for now that'll do. All right, let's continue watching.
Right there, you can kind of see it there. This might actually be a bagel. I don't know what the American bagel is. It might be a bagel. I don't know. But basically, like the more cooked it is,
don't make me hungry.
It'll like build the yeast or whatever, right? It'll kind of like expand it a little bit more. Anyways, point is the part around the middle, I want to make it small. I want to make it shrunken a little bit. So if I was to just draw, it's actually going to pull it out. But if I hold down Control as I draw, you can see that it's actually pushing it in. And that is what I want to do. So I'm just going to go around it, just like this. This isn't particularly fancy, but it does the job. Yeah. By the way, I'm doing this with a mouse, and I do have a stylus, but I'm doing it with a mouse because I know most people watching just have a mouse. A stylus will be immediately better for sculpting because you have pen pressure and you can like taper off strokes just with pen pressure. Like it's so much better with a stylus. So you know.
Cool. Well, guess what, Andrew? I have got a stylus. So let's do this now. I need that to do middle click. I need that to do middle click. It drives me insane. It does middle click in like GIMP. So let's try and make it do middle click. Pen. I mean, does it do it? Like, I want this to do middle click, and maybe this one to do right click. I kind of want this one to do pan scroll. Let's see if that does what I want it to do. I'll move this off screen and see. It's quite an ugly pose to paused you, and I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is more like it. So I can middle click. Yep, yeah, middle click and pan around. I can right click on there. So I actually want right click to be shift click. Modifier shift. Is it shift click? No, is it? That's F. let's see if that works. If can I hit F to get? All right, and now switch it to subtract so I don't have to hold down Control. All right, now let's actually do the thing that we're supposed to be doing, and that is digging out the middle. And already I feel like I need to be bigger. Okay, maybe not so big. About that big. See, I want, yeah, let's do it like that. Okay. Don't know what I'm setting up for the workflow for making this happen, but I want this smaller. Okay, and then we'll just keep going around the donut using the tablet, which is awesome. And by awesome, I mean it's okay. I can come in later actually and like see, this is something that I did last time I used Blender and the sculpt tools on the tablet, and it was pretty cool. It's nice and unperfect. Look at the ledges here. Yeah, just go around, gouge out some more bits there. All these bits are like sticking up. And what is it? Is it Control? No. Yeah, it's Control to add a bit. So add a bit in here just to bring it back up again. So it's got this nice little overhang here, which is probably good. You know, it's looking nice and donutty. So I use the mouse to get a bit more of a pan around. So there's like a blur tool, clay, simplify mask, box mask, pinch, scrape, fill, smooth. Isn't it? I swear there's a smooth too. Maybe I'm wrong. Smooth. Here we go. Let's just smooth it out a little bit because I feel like I've gone a bit too much. Just make it a bit bigger. Whoop. Drop the strength right down. I can just grab the strength like that. That's easy enough. Any bits I don't really like that are not smooth enough, just smooth them out. Okay. Get rid of some of that sort of pen stroke that was occurring. If I overdo it, I can kind of get rid of it entirely, but I don't want to do that. You know what? It's not the best attempt. Oh yes, I've made the brush size much bigger before doing that. Okay, I mean that's looking pretty good and donutty. it's like bigger on one side, which is probably, you know, accurate to actual donuts. You know, nobody's donuts perfect. Let's okay, we can close the Wacom thing and let's get Andrew off that. Oh well, you can't even see his face. Look at that. That's a very unfortunate place that I've paused him. Let's get our poor tutor off this.
If you get serious about sculpting or Blender at some point, it's probably a good investment. But I'm doing it with a mouse, so you can too. Okay, so that's okay. But having a look at this, we need a little bit more detail. It's a little bit low res, so I'm going back to layout mode. I'm just going to add another subsurf modifier. So I'll just add one here. Make sure when you apply, by the way, it'll apply whatever is in viewport subdivision, right? So just going to apply that. So I'm just going to apply, and then we've got a little bit more to play with now. Back to sculpt mode, and
all right. So I've got to. I wish I'd known that he'd changed the subsurf. What did he do?
Low res. So I'm going back to layout mode. I'm just going to add another subsurf modifier. So I'll just add one here. Make sure when you apply, by the way, it'll apply whatever is in viewport.
You know what? I don't think I need another subsurf. I think I've got enough detail in there. I mean, honestly, it's actually not ideal. Maybe I will do that, but I just have to reply to this message. Okay. Excuse me very briefly. Okay, we have returned. Let's see. Yeah, so let's do what he suggested and add another subsurf modifier to the object. So can I get out of modeling? Get back in. Get out of that mode. Add a subsurf modifier. We're getting fast at this. We know what we're doing. Viewport is 1. Is that what I want? Yeah. So that's adding more smooth, and then we apply it. Okay, and then we can go back to sculpting, and I mean, don't know how much more sculpting we need. I think we'll try and fix up some of this sort of edginess of the thing. I mean, I could restore the backup, but yeah, he raises a good point, and that is it's not enough detail, because you can see how lumpy this is. So I'll try and remove some of that lumpiness by just going over again. Maybe I'll go around it with a smooth in a moment. Just try and smooth out some of that. Looks like some lips here. A bit strange. How do I change the lighting? This, like, the scene lighting is viewport shading. Whoa, good grief. That's not useful. What's this? No. Here we go. Here we go. I can get a bit more of a feel for the, I mean, maybe that one. I mean, that's a nice clay, but not that. Yeah. Cartoon. Okay, so that's cool. Let's maybe this will give me a bit more of a final look at what we're doing. Nope, it's no good. Yeah, so fortunately studio lighting. I mean, you think that was studio lighting? Studio lighting in red. There we go. This might give me a bit more of a feel for what we're actually touching. Yeah, that's much nicer. I'd rather model like this so I can see the contours of the object as I model it. Now I want to raise this section up a bit. Yeah, so adding that little extra detail really did help. So that was thank you Andrew, good tip. And I mean, I'm probably spending too long actually doing this at the moment, but you know, I like this. It's fun, and it takes me back to the last time that I was doing Blender stuff. Do a little bit of smoothing. Smooth that out. See the pen strokes there. Kind of hard to do this resting the tablet on the back of my hand while I touch the keyboard. Yeah, there's a lumpy bit there. I can see if I can smooth that down. All right, I think that's done. I think that's very nice. Very nice. Cool. I do like that kind of thing, like modeling like that. It's quite fun. Okay. Let's
right. So
let him finish up.
I'm just going to apply, and there we go. Got a little bit more to play with now. Back to sculpt mode, and away we go. I did that step deliberately, by the way, because I know you know, I want to show you like the thought process of how you solve these sorts of problems.
Thanks.
So, yeah, as you can see, pretty simple. You don't want to go too far, you know. Well, the keyboard shortcuts like Shift F will actually be the strength. So if you don't want to have to keep going up there, you can just hit Shift F and you can control there. And then F is the size of the brush. So I use F a lot, Shift F not so much because it's a little weird to me. But yeah, anyway.
I feel like I could have done that
like
better.
Brush. Like if you go too far, you can kind of smooth it out a little bit. Yeah, let's try using Shift F.
Okay, so there's
yeah, you can kind of control it like that.
Yeah.
But okay, so that is the donut. I might actually just while I'm here. Actually, let me have a look. I didn't even do this for my my demo. What does the inside of a donut look like? Nothing. It looks exact. It looks completely perfectly round. Well, you know, nothing's perfect, so I'm gonna just like I don't know. I'm gonna hold down Control, and I'm just gonna like add a little bit of detail. Like some details.
You're right. You forgot. Well, you forgot. I forgot the middle of the donut. Let's try that. Okay. Let's try and pull some of that back out because we went a bit far there, I think. Okay. See what that looks like in there. Yeah, it's not too bad. It'll do.
Go detail, right? Even if it's just like a tiny little bit, better than just looking completely perfect, because nothing is completely perfect in the real world. Okay, so the donut part is good. Now, we're going to do similar steps, but for the icing. So I'm going to apply my solidify modifier first, and the next one is the subsurf modifier. Let me just unhide the rest of the mesh, just in case it causes problems later on, because it can in your sculpt mode, you won't be able to see it.
Okay.
And the other thing I'm just going to increase.
You did not say how you unhid it.
So I'm going to apply my solidify modifier first, and the next one is the subsurf modifier. Let me just unhide the rest of the mesh, just in case that causes.
Okay. Oh, he's got the keys down here.
First. And the next one is the subsurf modifier. Let me just unhide the rest of the mesh.
No, he's turned off his add-on. Reveal hidden. So normally he's got an add-on. Okay, let's turn that on, that off, that on. What does he do? Let's rewind that.
Completely perfect, because nothing is completely perfect in the real world. Okay, so the donut part is good. Now, We're going to do similar steps, but for the icing. So I'm going to apply my solidify modifier first, and the next one is the subsurf modifier. Let me just unhide the rest of the mesh just in case that causes problems later on, because it can in your sculpt mode, you won't be able to see it. And the other thing, I'm just going to increase my subsurf modifier just to give myself a little bit more detail in the sculpting stage. So I'm applying that to level 3, apply, and now this is the detail level that we have to work with. So I'm going to sculpt mode now, and along my brushes here, the one I'm going to use is called inflate. And this I'm going to use, ellipse, the eclipse start. I believe we did this. Yeah, we did this in the previous.
Okay. So now I've got to go and Google this. So Blender unhide. See if we can find the shortcut key for this. H unhide selected objects. Okay, so it's Alt H. Okay, so Alt H, easy peasy, right? I can get out of edit mode and probably go back to sculpt mode with the donut switched on this time. Unhide it. Okay, good.
Tutorial, changing the clip start. I guess there's a different clip start for different modes. But anyways, so I'm changing that so I can get close. Inflate will allow me to sculpt, and what it's going to do is it's going to pull. Yeah, it's kind of almost like it's like sticking inside the mesh, and it's like inflating it slightly, and it's going to create a like a dripping effect, which is very very common for droplets. Like you can see just along that edge there, that's really hard to get there. But basically, wherever there's a better photo maybe, wherever the liquid builds up, like as gravity pulls it down, there's obviously going to be more built up there. So essentially, I'm just doing a couple of clicks, obviously clicks, not clips, to make it look a little bit gloopy. So 1, 2, 3, maybe something like that.
Okay.
This is where
Let's inflate mode. Which one's inflate? It's inflate or blob? I think inflate. Right. Let's do it. I'll keep him playing in the background so I don't get too lost.
you don't copy me exactly. You see what I'm doing, and then you apply it to yours, because just a couple of clips, because your version is obviously going to be different to mine. You're going to have little droplets in different places. So it's just a matter of picking the droplets and just sculpting a little bit of detail. Just make sure that the tip of it, make it look like the weight of it, like it really is, like the ball of the dripping icing is like at the head of it, at the very bottom of it, right? The inflate brush is really good for this. It's really handy. I'll do a little bit for this part here as well. It's pretty good. A little bit here, maybe. I don't know. It's a little bit weird. You just go along it. It's kind of relaxing. It's kind of fun stuff. I like this part. You just kind of imitate how liquid forms. Yeah, man, hardcore. Cool stuff. Cool, so that's about that. Now we can switch, of course, to the smooth step. If you go too far, you can like smooth something out if it looks a little bit odd, but that's okay. By the way, the parts that are sticking out, don't worry about that. We'll go back to the edit and we'll move those in, but for now it's okay.
Okay, I think we've
but that's cool.
got to smooth out
I
some
think we've got to do
things.
it for like the edit stage. We've got to like kind of like do this inner part ring here as well. So actually, what I was just preparing for this tutorial, I was like, let's see if I can actually fix it just in sculpt and just add a few like little dropply bits. And yeah, you kind of can, because like the inner part of a donut is not going to have like lots of liquid that's like going to be dribbling down or whatever, but it's going to have a little bit. Like it's not going to be a perfectly clean edge. So I'm just using the grab brush and I'm just like pulling randomly around here.
Okay, so the grab brush is
like
that
in
one.
a little bit, and then
Okay, yeah, it's in the inner bit too. Okay, let's try this. Let's decrease the size. I want to fix up some of these droplets too, because yeah, that's a bit nicer. Let's smooth that out a little. See if that, yeah, smoothing that makes it a bit nicer. Hopefully that looks okay when we've cleaned it up a bit. Can I invert deflate? Like if I hit control on the deflate or erase on my thing, can I undo a deflate? There's seemingly no undo. Okay, well no, like inverse. Smooth it out. I'll just go with it, just make it really fat. Just make it bigger. More drop like there. Yeah, that's much more like a big gobby drop. Whoops, and then we hit undo on that. Just go bigger and just mess up the surface here a bit. It's like they missed this corner, so that's fine. Let's go all the way over this with a bit of smoothing. Strengthen that some more. Okay, I mean that's looking pretty good. Let's zoom in to the middle. I'm trying to grab some of these and adjust it. Be careful to do it front on because it kind of warps a bit if you do it the other way. Let's try and smooth out some of that. Not bad. Let's go zoom out and get a high-level overview of the inside of our donut. Let's see if we can add a little drip in there. That looks like a good candidate for a drip. Grab it, bring it down, bring it in a bit. We'll worry about that later. Let's inflate it a bit. Good, and then we'll have to bring that closer to the mesh later. I think that's what he's gonna do soon.
And then I'll also use like the inflate brush, and I'll inflate like little bits of it, maybe just like a little bit, just running along the edge.
Inflate some more.
As I said, something is better than nothing. All right, that's pretty good. And then the only other thing we are going to do is use draw mode with a small strength, 0.2 or something like that. And I'm just going to create a little bit of random displacement across my icing here. Because we've got the sculpt brush out, why not, right? Gone to the trouble of preparing the mesh so that we can sculpt on it. Might as well add in a little bit of detail, because the real world, like, I mean, as if icing could ever be perfectly just the right amount of was it 25 millimeters that we used for the solidify modifier? Like, it's never going to be as perfect as that in the real world. So there's going to be parts that are going to have more icing, thicker icing, less than others, etc. So just adding in that detail. You can also hold down control, of course, to go the other direction, and then if you go too far, you can smooth it out a little bit as well. This is, it's getting a painting sort of look to it. But that's kind of cool. It looks a little bit like icing. Okay, so going back to layout mode, you'll see, as I mentioned, you've got parts that are like sticking out. Obviously, that's not going to be like that for I mean, maybe if it was like frozen in time as the droplet fell, but it's we want it to stick to the donut. So in edit mode, we have a lot more vertices to play with, and this is, by the way, where it comes to, like, as I mentioned, like, you want to have as few vertices as possible whilst you're editing. This is what I mean. Like, this is really hard to control this mesh right now because there's so much going on with it. But as it turns out, we really just need to just like move that part in a little bit. So provided we have proportional editing turned on, and we've got it set to smooth. If I grab that little piece there, turn up my proportional editing, and I pull that in, and also I'm going to use rotate. So
did I actually succeed with that? I roughed up that icing, not nearly enough. Let's let's rough it up a bit more. Smaller, a bit more strength. Maybe subtract some. Turn this over and use the eraser. Let's take a quick mute break. Okay, I do apologize, a slight interruption there. Now, so I'm just going to run back downstairs and fetch another cup of tea, and we will continue. Shouldn't be too much longer. We'll continue with this sculpting. I need to get some snacks. I'm feeling a bit unsugared at the moment as well. So there's my kettle. All right, back in a moment. All right, sorry about the delay. Let's continue with the modelling. I now have some delicious snacks so I don't start getting too hungry while I stream. Got some dates and some almonds. All right, where were we?
much going on with it. But as it turns out, we really just need to just like move that part in a little bit. So provided we have proportional editing turned on, and we've got it set to smooth, if I grab that little piece there, turn up my proportional editing, and I pull that in, and also I'm going to use rotate, so R to rotate. Why is that turned off? It just randomly turns off the screencast tool, so you can't see what I'm pressing, which is annoying. So my apologies if sometimes I'm using stuff on here and the tool is turned off. It's just, it's a little buggy. It's a great add-on, you know, props to whoever made it. It's very handy, but a little buggy. So I'll just pull that in a little bit. There we go. Like that. So you just want to make it look like it's obviously hugging the donut. Like it's really part of the donut.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's, did I rough up that surface enough? I'm not sure I did. Let's finish that part first until I'm happy with it. Let's crank the strength up. Too much. And now subtract some. I mean, now it's very gluggy, and now we'll smooth it out a bit, just because we roughed it up so much. That's too much. Undo. Let's drop the strength right down for this step. Let's rotate around and see how we did. That's a bit too gluggy still. And there's some areas there that need a bit more, so let's I don't like that. That looks a lot like it was modelled in a 3D package with two vertices and extruded, almost like that's exactly how it was formed. So let's adjust it a bit. It's a grab tool. Let's inflate those a bit. Because they got deflated a bit. Smooth them out. Big cakey icing, but then all this stuff in the middle is not nearly big and cakey enough, so let's not grab, let's inflate this some more. Make it big and icingy goodness over here. Yeah, that little lump there. Okay, let's give that a bit more of a smooth out, just because that is smooth, isn't it? Because, you know, it's donut icing, it should be fairly smooth, and like that's not nearly smooth enough anymore. All right, let's do what he was saying and use the. Yeah, see, this needs inflating because it's not big enough. That's the problem. Yeah, that looks more like a big bit of icing. If we grab it and move it around. Yeah, that's looking better. Okay, and then we can fold it in over there. So yeah, if I hit tab, yeah, it's like this bit of mesh is really a mess, but oh well. I mean, I mean, I can try and pull out a blob on there. Like if I can inflate this here and grab it. And smooth it. Maybe this will work. Let's see if that has done anything slightly. Yeah, it's a little less insane. It'll do. It'll do. I feel like this all needs a bit of smoothing. Yeah, you know what, I'm not completely thrilled with it, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's a donut. It will do. Okay, let's have a bite to eat from my snack pile.
And yeah, so I'll just pull that in a little bit. There we go, like that. So you just want to make it look like it's obviously hugging the donut, like it's really.
Okay. Let's how do I change proportional editing style? What's he doing? He's got snap off, which he hasn't told us about. He's got proportional editing on. And then he hit rotate to bring it around. And he moved it in. That's more like it. Let's try this one. I mean, let's look at it from the other side. Yeah, it needs, both sides need adjusting on that one. Let's try and pan over to it. This one. And then I start asking, why did I make so many of these things? Let's rotate, pan around there. Oh, man. I'll zoom out, get really close to that. Zoom in. I mean, what happens if I hit X-ray mode? Yeah, okay, so R to rotate that in a bit. And drag it in a bit. So I can always jump back out to the sculpt mode and try and clean that up a bit. I mean, that doesn't look too bad. Let's try and find the next one. Rotate around, move around, grab that, anywhere will do. Grab it in, rotate it in, grab it some more. This one, do on the other side, we'll rotate it around a bit. And grab it and drag it in as well. There's another one, look at that sucker, really needs to be dragged in, kicking and screaming. Let's grab it. Sorry, let's rotate it first. And then grab it and bring it in. I'll do the same thing here. It's not too bad. Like another contender. There we go, and we've done that one side, but we might need to do this side a bit. I think I did this one. It's looking pretty good. All right. Why am I all the way out there? I've got plenty of room. Plenty of room. Recenter that. Does that look deliciously donutty to you? It looks like someone stuck their finger in it right there. So let's jump back out to sculpting and have some more snackage and try and improve matters somewhat. Let's try and smooth that a bit. Can I? Oh, that does do it. Yeah, took out way too much there. Let's bring up this thing again. Does that help? Does this help? Not really. What about... What's the one I liked? Was it this one? One of them was giving me reasonable Yeah, that one's a bit better. I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. All right, let's try and fix up the middle ones too, because obviously these are not anywhere near touching the desired surface. So let's try those. God, I don't know how you're supposed to do this. I mean, grab and let's do it from up inside the hole of the donut. Whoops, come back, stay there. I mean, I'm grabbing this seam and kind of just shoving it on there and hoping for the best. I mean, I don't know if you call that the technical term for that is a seam, but it's pink, so you know it must be good. This is the worst offender. Can we get this into the side as well? It suddenly has become very sunken in there, so maybe that's something we need to clean up as well. Just clip into it. Oh, we can maybe grab this bit and take it out a bit. Yeah, there we go. Let's do all this section here to do. Man, 3D modeling is fun. There's this big section here, this big round fat blob. That's probably acceptable. I mean, it's a donut. Okay, let's jump back into sculpting and see if we can just improve that a bit. Let's use the tablet majig. Let's inflate that. Or just maybe add to it. And smooth through up here. Nice big dollop of icing coming through there, and just smooth that out now that it's been messed with. I feel like that needs some more thickness to it though. We'll try inflate and see what it does. You can always undo it. And then we can smooth that back out again. Yeah. Looking donutty. Looking donutty. Okay, let's continue the tutorial.
Part of the donut. And yeah, just do that for the rest of it. We have gone over, though, so we will do that. I will do that off camera. Just continue this for all of the droplets along the thing. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and join me in the next part as we continue making the donut. I believe we're doing materials next. So click here, and I will see you in the next video.
Sounds good. Okay, we're going to do materials. That is exciting. Next part.
All right, well, congratulations on making it thus far into the tutorial. The mesh of the donut, like its shape, is pretty well finished. Now we can start talking about lighting and rendering. So everything we have done thus far has just been in sort of viewport mode, right? Like in this shade, this is solid view viewport mode. But when you actually create a final image or an animation, it's actually going to be using a separate mode called rendered view mode. And that is where you actually determine how things look, like the color of things, where the light is, all that kind of thing. So that you can actually have a look at by clicking on that final little dot there. That's rendered view mode. Or, by the way, a hotkey for switching between all these modes here is Z, and that'll bring up this pie menu here. So this is solid view, what we've always been looking at, and then that's rendered. We've also got two others which we haven't really used. We'll probably use them later on. But anyways, for now, we're going to have a look at rendered.
Okay. Whoa. Cheers. Someone's in chat. Hello. I was also doing this the other day. It looks dope as F. I don't know when I was doing it. I did something wrong. Yours looks nice. Looks better. That's a really weird tool. I don't know what tool you're referring to, but howdy. Welcome to the stream. So just to give you an idea of what we're doing. We're trying to learn how to use the new version of Blender. It's been, I think, years since I used Blender, maybe 4. And even then I wasn't particularly good at it. And cheers, mate. Nom nom nom. So yeah, I like this guy. I enjoy his tutorials, and I just decided to follow along and get familiar. So we were trying to figure out what is that the button he wanted me to push? I think it is. Yeah. So let's carry on with the tutorial. Rendered. All right, and add some materials.
Okay, so things look a little different. Not too much different, but a little bit different. One biggest thing is that there's light, right? There's an actual directional light, and we know that that it's working because that's our light over there, right? Now, if we move this light in closer, which we could do just by hitting G and sort of move things around, and I just realized this screencast tool is turned off. Okay, good. Just keep that active. So if we move this light in, just closer to our donut, like so, you can see that as I move this around, that it's the light and the shadow is reflected on that donut there. Okay, so let's make this scene a little more interesting, because right now there's like the donut's not casting any shadow onto anything else, because it's just a donut hovering in outer space basically. So let's add in a plane.
Okay, so this is the part where I need to figure out, like, G for grab, but I want, oh, okay, no. So yeah, yeah, this is what I want these things. That's better. Okay. No worries. And then we'll bring the camera in as well. Although, has he done that yet?
Okay, so for some reason, by the way, my cursor, a little cursor, is turned off. This
important, but this. So I've watched this before.
Anything to turn on or off. Anyway, the 3D cursor. And the reason that's important is that I'm going to add a plane, and wherever the 3D cursor is where new objects get dropped. And you can move your 3D cursor by shift.
And I want
3D cursor, or just Shift C will actually clear it, and it'll put it in the center of your grid floor.
I know. So, later on, he says how to just set the camera to whatever your viewport is, and it's like that's going to be way easier than trying to move.
Plane, one thing at a time. Shift A is that menu for adding new things, and we're going to go for mesh plane. And there we go, we have a plane. I'm going to focus on the plane just so I can move around it, good. Okay, so I want my donut to obviously be sitting on the plane, so it's like sitting on a countertop. So we could, grab my donut here and move it up, but then the icing doesn't come with it. And it's obviously very important that these two are linked. We could select them both by hitting Shift, and selecting them both like that. But let's save ourselves some time for the future as well, and link these two. So we do that by parenting it. So the way you parent things in Blender is you select first the object that is the child of a parent object, meaning like the one that's supposed to follow another object.
Okay,
so parent first, then Shift, click on the object which is going to become parent, the master object, and I'm going to hit Control P for parent. And then I'm going to select object or object key transform. I always use key transform because sometimes you're working with lots of stuff. The first one doesn't doesn't do exactly what you'd expect. Keep transform always works, but basically that.
Okay.
And then when you do that, if you move your donut, you will see that the icing comes with it, which is what we want. Nice. By the way, in your outliner up here, where you've got the object, when you parent something to another object, it looks as though it's vanished from the outliner, but it's actually just underneath it now. So it's inside the outliner underneath the object above it. Anyway, but now we've got that. Now the donut is the master of all, the keeper of light and truth, and the icing is following it. Good. All right. So let's just move this lamp in a little bit closer, like so. Okay.
Oh, my lamp is under the plane, is it?
Why is the donut not casting shadow onto the plane there? Well, we could, with our lamp here selected, we could check it out. Oh, contact shadows. Oh, yeah, I've done this tutorial a couple of times. Contact shadows was turned on, but turned off by default. But anyways,
Okay, let's
this light here and
slow him down.
Now, we could turn down the.
Okay. All right. Blender for sprites. I want to apply my sprite textures. Oh, yeah. That'd be interesting. I don't know enough about Blender to really say anything intelligent about that.
Oh, contact shadows. Oh yeah, I've done this tutorial a couple of times. Contact shadows was turned on, but turned off by default. But anyways, it's using this light here, and these are all the settings for the light.
Okay.
Now, we could turn down the strength of this. We could change, how things look. You can see that the shadow's not really there. We could turn on contact shadows, which will give a little bit of shadow to it, and that's all well and good. But the thing is that this mode that we're in right now, this render view mode, it's using a rendering engine to present this to us. And the rendering engine that is defined by default in Blender, if we go to the rendering panel up here, the render engine is Eevee, which is a real-time rendering mode. And it's really, really fast renders. Like if you want to do like a long animation, like a TV show, or you're working on a really tight deadline.
Okay, I need to figure out what they just did. Scene. He's in the scene. Man, I'm very impressed with like I've never I haven't used Blender for years, but I've been following along with the technology that they've been doing, and it's more amazing every time. And I'm just so excited about doing Blender 2.8 because it's like, oh, we finally decided the UI was just ridiculous and fixed it, and it's like, yeah, it's about time.
Actually just underneath it now.
Okay, so
now master of all, shadows is there, like so, in truth, and the icing is following it. Good. All right, so
okay,
let's just move this lamp in a little bit closer.
Lamp's in,
like so.
Nice close. We're blown out. Yep, just like his.
So, why is there no shadow? Why is the donut not casting shadow onto the plane there? Well.
Oh man, don't get me started about Adobe programs.
Oh, contact shadows. Oh yeah, I've done this tutorial a couple of times. Contact shadows was turned on, but turned off.
Okay. There's a setting on the lamp. So what's he got? He's got the lamp. Shadows, contact shadows. Okay, so we got a shadow. Oh yeah, that's not bad.
By default, but anyways. It's using this light here, and these are all the settings for the light. Now, we could turn down the strength of this. We could change, how things look. Because see, the shadow's not really there. We could turn on contact shadows, which will give a little bit of shadow to it, and that's all well and good. But the thing is that this mode that we're in right now, this render view mode, it's using a rendering engine to present this to us. And the rendering engine that is defined by default in Blender, if we go to the rendering panel up here, the render engine is Eevee.
Okay, the render panel. Okay, got it.
Which is a real-time rendering mode, and it's really, really fast renders. Like if you want to do like a long animation, like a TV show, or you're working on a...
My computer's like 8 years old. I'm astonished that this is like working as well as it is. Which is really a testament to the work they've done on it.
Deadline. Eevee is great because it's like really fast, and it's just like Unreal Engine. It's like all those kind of things. It does require a lot of optimization though. Like you've got to really work with light and shadow to try to make it look correct. However, Blender comes with another render engine, Workbench. By the way, forget that. That's just for like viewport. It's very rarely used. Cycles is the other main one. So if we switch to Cycles, it will look like this. Now my recording
This guy-
is going to be slightly screwed up.
Let's get the same effect as he's got.
It is going
Yeah, this guy. I like this guy. I just watch him just for fun. Oddly enough, he lives in the same city as me, which is interesting. Okay. Do we drop frames? I think we're dropping a lot of frames. Just a few. Okay, I'm going to switch back to Eevee. Good grief. All right.
to be rendered as. By default is set to CPU. I want to change this to GPU. And that's going to use my graphics card. So I've got two NVIDIA GTX 1080
I do not have two NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti's. I absolutely do not have that. That's for sure. Okay. Let's see.
Now my recording is going to be slightly screwed up. Viewport, it's very rarely used. Cycles is the other main one. So if we switch to cycles, it will look like this. Now my recording is going to be slightly screwed up because the device of which it is going to be rendered as by default is set to CPU. I want to change this to GPU. And that's going to be my graphics card. GTX
take a shit.
1080 Ti's. So it's important that I actually use those because they're way faster than my CPU. If you don't see GPU here, by the way, you can actually go edit preferences. And then underneath system, you'll actually show the devices that you have that are compatible with.
All right, let's switch back to Eevee so we're not killing the CPU and have a look at. I'll have a look at this and see what I've actually got. Devices, system, CUDA. No compatible GPUs found. Cycles of render on the CPU. Okay, that's completely unsurprising. One day I will upgrade this machine and it will be a glorious day.
With CUDA or OpenCL. OpenCL, I believe, is for your AMD cards. CUDA is NVIDIA's cards. So you may, depending on your hardware, you may see something here. You might not have anything that's compatible, like CUDA or OpenCL, in which case you're going to have to use CPU. And that's fine. It's just CPU is generally a little bit slower than GPU. So you'll still be able to render. Doesn't matter, but it just might be a little bit slower. Anyways, I'm going to use GPU. Now you'll notice that when we switched from Eevee to Cycles, it looks much more realistic immediately. The shadows are accurate. The shadows are matching the donut here. Everything is working the way you would expect. And that's because Cycles is what's called an unbiased rendering engine, which means it calculates things like physically accurate to the way things are in the real world. It's like throwing light inside the donut, and it's like bounce lighting around inside this ring here. If there was different colors, you would see like light bleed, like it would reflect the light onto other parts of it. These shadows here, they're all accurate. Animated movies like Pixar, Disney, all VFX, everything like that uses render engines like Cycles, unbiased, ray-traced engines. Video games use something like Eevee, although Eevee will not allow you to create a game. It's not a game engine, but the way it functions is very similar. So anyways, a polished, high-quality image or animation, you want to use Cycles. So the one downside to Cycles is that it is grainy. So you'll notice that like as you move around, it's like super heavily grainy, and then it gets less and less grainy as time goes on. And you can actually see in the top left-hand corner that the samples there are being counted. So it'll stop at 32, and the higher you set those limits to, when we get to that, the less grainy it will become.
Killing
I know this tutorial, there's not a lot to this tutorial, I have an explanation, but it's quite important. So I'm spending a whole video just talking about it. But anyways, let's render out like a very simple image. So the camera is what will actually be defined, like what you will look through when you hit render. Like
this is what I want to know.
So you can actually look through what the camera is seeing by clicking that little button there, or by hitting the shortcut as it's displayed number pad 0. And there we go. I'm looking through the camera. So we're way out there. Now you can move the camera closer, but you'll notice like if you like move the view or like use the middle mouse or whatever to orbit, you are no longer looking through the camera. So the camera will stay where it is unless you use the controls designed for the camera, which is similar to like if you use the camera image. So you can actually look through what the camera is seeing by clicking that little button there, or by hitting the shortcut as it's displayed number pad 0. And there we go. I'm looking through the camera. So we're way out there. Now you can move the camera closer, but you'll notice like if you like move the view or like use the middle mouse or whatever to orbit, you are no longer looking through the camera. So the camera will stay where it is unless you use the controls designed for the camera, which is similar to like if you're moving an object. It's G to move that object, and then you use the middle mouse, you push that once, and then you can like zoom in. Now a lot of people from other software and even like beginners are like, they find it very weird the way this functions. Other software, it has it so that when you are looking through the camera, if you move the viewport or whatever, the camera will follow with it. So you can actually choose that by clicking lock camera to view in this properties here with the camera select.
Okay, that was not useful. So camera to view is
like use the middle mouse or whatever to orbit, you are no longer looking through the camera. So the camera will stay where it is unless you use the controls designed for the camera, which is similar to like if you're moving an object. It's G to move that object, and then you use the middle mouse, you push that once, and then you can like zoom in. Now a lot of people
that is weird.
Find it very weird the way this functions. Other software, it has it so that when you are looking through the camera, if you move the viewport or whatever, the camera will follow with it. So you can actually choose that by clicking lock camera to view in this properties here with the camera selected. And now as I move around, I can use the standard controls, middle mouse, orbit, scroll to come closer, and the camera will follow. So you can use that if you want.
Let's see if I can figure that out. All right, camera, lock camera to view. I don't actually want to zoom in as much. Do I? I want to. Yeah. So I'm viewing with the camera, and I want going to come close to the donut and then bring it down. Maybe I should just move the camera, because if I zoom in I'll get a maybe a slightly weird effect. Does that do, maybe it doesn't do some sort of lens distortion. Can I, yeah, I can do that. That's so much easier. So I can just hit the usual key for snapped object, which is handy. Okay, get rid of this thing. Okay, now, okay, so I got my donut. Let's.
Or the other way, by the way, is like, this is the way I like to work. I get my position like where I want the camera to be like looking, just in like standard view mode like this.
Yeah, this is what I want.
Alt number pad 0, and then the camera will snap.
Control Alt number pad 0. Let's try that for the sake of tutorial. It's going to be in a fairly similar position. Control Alt number pad 0. And let's undo it because it looks horrendous. But that's pretty good. Yeah, neatly centered. All right, let's try that.
Snap to the location that I'm looking at right there. But anyways, I just want to do like a very simple, like, well, you know, this is a full tutorial which will go into like, we'll add brick in the background and coffee and a plate and all that kind of thing. But for now, I just want to have like a very simple look, right, of the donut on a plane. So I've got some light there. So if I was to render this right now, which you can do by going to the top corner and hitting render, or the hotkey is F12. Anyways.
All right, moment of truth. Okay, all right, I probably should change the settings. Oh, my poor computer, good God. Is that it? 8 seconds to render that frame. How can I change the render settings? All right, let's close that. And
when I do that, this will happen. You'll see that it starts, you've got like these little squares that will appear, it'll start in the middle and it'll sort of spiral out. And there we go, we have an image. And if we were to hit Shift S, or by going to Image and then Save, Shift S, you would actually be able to save it as like a PNG or a JPEG. Very simple, right? So it doesn't look very good. Doesn't look very good at all. Very white, looks like it's made of clay. So we'll do the materials in the next video. But for this one, yeah, just wanted to set the camera up, get the light somewhat in an appealing way. I do have, like, lighting is such a complex, well, you can get the basics. Like, basics is pretty easy, but understanding how light works, I've got like a full series on that. I'll put a link to that in the description and you can click up there if you want to watch it now. But it's more for like once you've got the basics of Blender, you can watch that. But it'll explain all about
his lighting series is really good.
What I want you to know is like, you'll see that it's pretty clear that there's light that's very close to the donut. Like, it's kind of like a highlight over here, and then towards the right-hand side, you've got like, it's darker. If you want to have like even lighting over everything, you basically need to move the lamp further away from your subject, and then there will be less fall off. It'll be like, it'll appear more constant, almost like sunlight, which in this case might be kind of desirable. We want to have just kind of like evenly flat lighting across a counter. So I'm moving it, you know, that far. You don't have to copy my exact settings. Like, just it actually, you'll learn more by doing things on your own and like experimenting with how things look, right? So I'm moving my lighting over there. When you move it away, obviously the lighting intensity is reduced because it's falling off. So the brightness of it is defined by the power. So you can increase the brightness right there, and I'll go with something like that. And then, as a way to get into the next video, because we're going to start with materials, I'm going to go to the material setting right down there, the material panel. I'm going to click that. You won't see this, by the way, that's an add-on. I'm going to enable it. I should probably turn that off. But at the top, so this is material. This is where you define what colors things are going to look, what textures, all that kind of thing. So with my plane selected, I'm going to click New to give it a new material. Nothing's changed so far because it's just the default setting. But the one setting here that we're going to change just in this video, base color. I'm going to make this blue.
Okay.
And there we go. We now have a donut sitting on a blue plane, and I'm going to go ahead and hit render. Like.
All right. Let's try and do some of these things. Which one did he click for material?
I'm going to go to the material setting right down there, the material panel. I'm going to click that. You won't see this, by the way, that's an add-on. I'm going to enable it. I should probably turn that off. But at the top, so this is material. This is where you define what colors things are going to look, textures, all that kind of thing. So with my plane selected, I'm going to click New to give it a new material. Nothing's changed so far because it's just
base color.
But the one setting here that we're going to change just in this video, base color. I'm going to make this blue, like so. And there we go. We now have a donut sitting on a blue plane, and I'm going to go ahead and hit render, like so.
On a green plane.
There we go, and then let's go save it if you wanted to. By the way, I haven't even talked about saving your scene in Blender yet, so just go save as and save your scene, your .blame file. It's pretty simple, but I know like ZBrush makes things pretty hard when it comes to saving. But Blender's pretty easy. It's just like save, but that's separate to the image which I was talking about. Save.
Okay,
save the project.
so now in the next video, I think I want to turn down the render size before we go too nuts. Otherwise it's going to take a long time to render anything sane. On the other hand, maybe we just deal with it and hit F12. Sorry about the lag. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. It's not bad. It's not too bad. I don't like the light position at all. But we can adjust that. He's gonna, I think in the next episode he actually talks about this.
This tutorial series is brought to you by Polygon.
So let's move on.
Faster. Welcome to the last part of level 1. So as the final step, we are going to be adding some materials to our icing and donut, and then doing a final render, at least final for level 1, to create just a nice little cute squishy pink donut. So with our icing selected, I'm going to material panel, and I'm going to add a new material. So we just touched briefly on it before, but this is where you change the properties for a material, and there are a lot of properties, and it can be extremely daunting, I know, as a beginner to like see all this and go like, oh my goodness, how am I going to, you know, the good news is you don't need to know most of this, like especially as a beginner, there's only like 2 or 3 things you change a lot. Like even myself, I like to think of, oh, here we go, Spider Utility, thank you, nice reminder again. I like to think I know Blender, but I barely ever touch like anisotropic, sheen, clear coat, transmission mode, like I barely touch most of this. There's really only like 2 or 3 you touch a lot. So the first one is base color, which is the base color of a material, like the easiest way to say it. It's material can get very sciencey, but it's the albedo side of a material. It's like the underlying, there's no way to explain it. It's the base color, okay? It doesn't affect the reflection color, it doesn't affect bump, it doesn't do anything like that. All it is just like the underlying color of a material. So we're gonna make it look pink. Or,
so I'm gonna,
you know, I'm not here to tell you what you're doing.
Yes, exactly, Andrew. You're not here to tell me what my donut color is going to be, and I'm going to do it like, you know, the way that I made icing last, and that is, let's put way too much dye in it. Hot pink. Sweet.
It should look like. You could give it blue icing, purple icing, orange icing, yellow icing. It's entirely up to you. But I happen to think that pink.
Except I chose the wrong color.
Nice.
I only need the surface color.
So there we go. All right. Now the second property that you change a lot for materials is the roughness. The roughness defines how reflective the material looks, or how sharp the reflection actually looks. So the lower value you go, like if you go all the way to 0, it's almost like it's a mirror. It's completely sharp. And then as you go higher and higher, you can see that reflection of the lamp there becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you go all the way to 1, it looks almost as if it's made of chalk. And this is how you define how reflective something looks. Some people, especially a lot of beginners, they think that the way to turn off a reflection is to change the specular value. And you can do that, but it's overriding the actual like physically accurate properties of the real world, because every object in the real world actually has reflection. Sounds crazy, but even a brick, even chalk, everything has reflection. It's so rough that you almost can't see it, but it's still there. So I would suggest not touching specular or specular tin or anything like that. I would suggest just leave it as is, and just change the roughness. If you want to turn off reflection, just crank it all the way up to 1. Anyways, in our case though, we're making this look like icing. It helps to have a reference of icing. So I actually went and bought a donut from the shops, and I put it on a plate here and I filmed it for you, so you can see how reflective the icing looks. The more melted it looks, like the fresher out of the oven and freshly glazed, it's gonna look wet, right? So that would be like a low sharp value there. But I find like a value of about like 0.3, 0.34, something like that. I think it looks kind of good. I think it looks fine. Okay, so there's that. And then for most materials, the only other value you change a lot is like the normal value, because that's the bump. So if you're adding like a bumpy sort of surface or something, you would change that. But you have to have something to plug into it when we get to more advanced materials in the following levels. We'll talk about that. But for this thing, we don't have any bump. We're just going to leave it as is. Now, because this is icing is actually a kind of a rare type of material in that there is another property to it, and that is called subsurface scattering. So you can see looking at this right now, it does look like icing, but something seems off.
This one's going to kill the rendering time.
It's almost made of concrete. And the reason for that is that looking at our reference of real icing, light isn't just hitting it and bouncing off it, light's actually entering into it and it's bouncing around. And that is very much similar to human skin. So real human skin, it has, you can see it especially like on like the corners of people's ears, right? Like with the sun behind them, you see like red ears. And that's because it's like almost slightly translucent and light is entering into the skin and it's bouncing around and you get different values. Well, food actually has this property as well. So humans have it, some natural materials and like food basically has this property. So that's this value here, subsurface scattering. So if we increase this, you can see that it starts to, it looks different, it looks a little weird, but it has that kind of fleshy quality to it. So the one value you want to change is the color of this. By default, it's set to white. So we could set this to reddish color. Actually, there's very little information online about how to actually use subsurface color. It's kind of like a little out in the open. But based on my tests, I find like giving it like a kind of a reddish pink color is good. But then also you've got subsurface radius, which defines how far the light actually bounces around inside the object. And by default, and here's the other thing, there's 3 values, not just 1 value, but 3 because there's 1 for each channel: red value, green value, and blue value, which is weird to me. I don't get it. I'm sure there's a very scientific, accurate reason. But anyways, my advice for you, because the top one is the red value, I would suggest setting that to like a 0.3 and then setting these others to 0.1. The green and the blue, and then that will give it like a reddish hint to it, and it'll go like, it won't go too far as well. You don't want it to look like wax, which is what can happen if you overdo the subsurface value. So actually that does kind of look a little odd to me. 0.25 perhaps. Maybe this is a little bit too something. I don't know. We can tweak these values after. We don't have to be like locked into it right now. But somehow this is looking a little odd.
Yeah.
I know I went with like 0.3 for my final one, but
so at some point I should
go 0.15 for these other 2 values as well. That looks a little bit better. Just a little bit more spread, a little bit more light coming through the donut. You know, you can tweak these all day.
Look at what these actually mean.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So that's the icing. The icing looks pretty darned good. In the next part, we're going to put sprinkles on top. But for now, we have some icing. Not bad. All right. Now for my. By the way, I've been turning on and off this overlays. That's just like, you know, the camera, like the outline of stuff. Okay. Okay. So that's the
copy his values just because it's not like I have the CPU power to render this many times and get a good one. No worries. Thanks for watching. Cheerio. I'll catch you next time. Thank you. Thank you. Let's try a final little render. This one will take a while because it's got subsurface on. Huh. That's very, very subsurfacey. I don't like it. That's a bit better.
The icing looks pretty darn good. In the next part, we're going to put sprinkles on top, but for now, we have some icing. Not bad. All right, now, for my... by the way, I've been turning on and off this overlays. That's just like, you know, the camera, like the outline of selected objects. If I'm working on materials and things like that, I find it helpful to just turn it off so that I can just focus on what I'm doing. But then in order to see what you're selecting, of course, you want to make sure you have it turned on. But anyways, I have my donut selected now, so let's give the donut material. We are in the future parts, we're going to give this a proper material, like texture paint it and make it look parts that are like white as well as dark. But just for now, we're going to give it the simplest material just to make like a really quick render. And that's just to make it look a little bit bready, a little bit orangey yellow, like so. And then the other thing, I'll give it a little bit of subsurf, just a little bit, because it is food as well, so bread has light enter into it just a little bit. And I'll just make sure it's yellow. And then let's go 0.1.1. Like so. All right. Donut is looking donutty. So with my camera selected, it's a little far away from my donut. So I'm going to hit G to move my camera, and that'll move it along, you know, like I'm grabbing it. And then I'm going G and then middle mouse button. And then that'll just like, you just push the middle mouse once, and it's like moving it along. It's like I'm grabbing it. And so with my camera, let's go 0.1.1.
I feel like this has got way too much subsurface on it. Let's try rendering that. Man, that icing looks like just otherworldly. Good job, guys. Default value, input value used for unconnected socket. It does nothing. They're all like that. Okay, I mean, I understand what that's for, but like, you could tell me what the base color means. Okay. I'll carry on.
Like so. All right. Donut is looking donutty. So with my camera selected, it's a little far away from my donut. So I'm going to hit G to move my camera, and that'll move it along, you know, like I'm grabbing it. And then I'm going G and then middle mouse button, and then that'll just like, you just push the middle mouse once, and it's like moving it along. It's like forward, front facing axis. I don't know, but it's just how you move it forward and back. What's the term? It's like on a rail in not pan. Oh, dolly. That's the word I'm thinking of for camera. Just like dollying it in and out.
Yeah,
anyway.
on the camera.
Okay, cool. So we're going to do a little render. So obviously for the final, whatever you call it, final, you know, all the way to level 4, we're going to put like brick behind it, do a coffee, a plate, and all that kind of thing. But just for now, we're just going to make a nice, very simple render for people that want to end it.
I'm not following
End it all. End it like they're going to commit suicide.
Jesus Christ, Andrew, your sense of humor is atrocious.
All right, that's a little dark. Anyway, in this case, what I want to do is I want to have the light just a little bit behind the donut. But this is a case where you can kind of see like having like just a single view like this, like looking through my camera. I want to be able to move my light around, but I can't really do it from this view. So let's talk about splitting the view. To split the view in Blender, you just go up to wherever there's a border, and then just right-click it, and then you've got an option to vertical split or horizontal split. By the way, I believe this is a 2.8 right now. If you're following along with me, you might just have a like join or something like that. Like you might have to go to the, like this side and do it there. But anyways, so we do a vertical split, and then we have a split. And then over here, or something like that, like you might have to go to the, like this side and do it there. But anyways, so we do a vertical split.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted before. Helps to have watched these.
And then we have a split. And then over here, I now have just another window, and I can move this around, and you can see that it's interactively updating that one at the same time, which is nice. There we go. The other way, by the way, if you want to collapse or split something again, if you move to the very top right-hand corner, this is kind of like the legacy way of doing it, but like your cursor changes to like a little target symbol. If you click and drag that way, it splits it. You can do it this way as well. And then if you want to join them, like collapse them, you just do it in the opposite direction. Click and drag that way. So yeah, that's pretty good. The only other thing I'm going to do as well is like the size of my lamp there. It looks a little bit like, sorry, I'm going to split the view again so that we can actually see the lamp. It looks a little bit like sunlight, like it looks a little bit too hard of light source. So I'm going to, whoops, not the power, the size of my light right there. You can see the larger I make this, the softer this shadow becomes. If I turn off my overlay, I can focus on it a little bit better. You don't want to go too soft because then it kind of like loses emphasis or direction, but just something that's not looking like sunlight, something like that. And I'll turn down the power just slightly. Oh, by the way, now that we're talking, about doing a final render, in my full lighting series, which if you do get serious about CG, I recommend watching that because I go into a lot of detail about this. But I explain how you can actually find out what the correct light value you should be using because every monitor is actually different, and what looks okay to you might look too dark or too bright for somebody else. So if you don't have that thing that's been popping up repeatedly as a spider, I've got this device which will like make my monitor more accurate for color. But if you don't have one of those, you don't need it. If you switch in the render settings right here, you've got a underneath color management, you've got a view transform. If you change that to false color, everything will look psychedelic. But these values here will tell you whether something is overly bright or not. And for color, but if you don't have one of those, you don't need it. So if you don't have that thing that's been popping up repeatedly as a spider, I've got this device which will like make my monitor more accurate for color. But if you don't have one of those, you don't need it. If you switch in the render settings right here, you've got a underneath color.
Okay, and the render settings underneath color management. Render settings underneath color management. View transform false color, which tells us we're pretty good. So that light, make it a bit brighter. Yeah. Maybe that's, yeah. Whopping 100 watts. How do I change the radius? I mean, it's a light. So that's the size of like, one of those big umbrella lights. Or something. Not even that. Yeah, that seems to have no effect with Eevee. So let's okay, switch that back now to Filmic. Okay, now I can yeah, should have done it in this mode. Now I can see the size of the light. So a bit more of a point light. And I really don't like the way that's ended up. So I can grab the whole donut situation and rotate around. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Good angle. Good angle. Okay.
Management, you've got a view transform. If you change that to false color, everything will look psychedelic. But these values here will tell you whether something is overly bright or not. And really, you want things to be just above, like just on gray or above gray. So this like top of this icing here is kind of like what my focus is going to be. So looking at my lamp, I'm just going to turn that down just a little bit. Like it can be a little bit overexposed. This green value here can be a little bit overexposed, but not too much. Anyway, that's enough.
Oh, okay. So I've overdone it.
Before I do another render, I'll just because I actually think that blue for the ground, it looks okay, but I actually realized that you can use if you make it like within this pink pastel color. We did split testing for this tutorial. We put some adverts up on Facebook to test what thumbnail would actually perform best for this tutorial. And yeah, apparently we did like some different ones with like the background here, and we had ones that were blue and then some that were pink, and the pinks outperformed by a lot. So yeah, I guess like it's up to you, but based on my test, it seems like the aesthetic looks it looks nicer when you have like just pink on pink. So that's what I'm gonna go with. All right, now before we do a render, I'm gonna give this a save. Let's give this a save right now. I just hit Control-Shift-S to do that save. And all right, now if we hit F12 right now, which is the shortcut for rendering, you'll see these tiles will appear. It'll go one by one by one, and
okay.
yeah, so I do have
That's
tiles because
30
I have
watts of light.
and
That's
I'm
pretty
using
good.
GPU. If you have CPU, you might see like 8 tiles because it's going to use the cores of the CPU to do it. But CPUs are often generally slower than graphics cards. But anyways, so the speed at which it's doing this is dependent on the number of samples. So the samples are defined right here. So the viewport is set to 32 by default. So you can see in the viewport here, it's quite noisy because we're rendering at just 32 samples, which is a very, very low sample amount. The final render it's doing at 128, which you can see is far less.
Okay, what were we doing? We're doing, okay, so we're on the rendering tab. And let's bump that up. No, let's not, because I don't have the CPU power for it.
Noisy. But when you zoom right in, you can still see there's quite a lot of noise there. So one way to reduce that is to just increase that. But every time, like if you were to double the samples and make it 256, right, 256 samples, that would kind of like double the render time. And you can do that, but yeah, you wouldn't ever even really clear up all the noise. There would always be like some noise there. Thankfully, there is something called denoisers, which after the render is finished, it can try to intelligently read where the there it is, where the edges are and where noise is, and try to remove the noise. And 2.8, Blender 2.8. So if you're watching this as I upload, make sure you get this latest version from the Blender Builder website.
Yeah, I think I think I've got 2.8, not 2.81.
And the way you use it is you go to your layer panel first, and you make sure you turn on denoising data. And then when you do that, you have to do another render. So we'll do that quickly. There we go. And then once the render is finished, we're going to go. A denoiser in it, which is incredible. It's the Intel AI denoiser. And the way you use it is you go to your layer panel first, and you make sure you turn on denoising data. And then when you
Okay, so I don't have this, which is unfortunate.
do that, you have to do another render. So we'll do that quickly. There we go. And then once the render is finished, we're going to go, and this is, for beginners tutorial, a little advanced, but we're going to go to the compositor. So this compositor tab along the top there. And this is, it's everything that's going to happen to your render after a render is finished. And what you can do in here is you could add in nodes that do things. You could add glow, glare, you can do all sorts of things. Color grading, everything can happen in here. And it's a little advanced, but just follow me for just this part, and later on in the future levels, we'll talk more about using nodes properly.
All right, if I upgrade Blender, I can do this, which I probably will need to do for my project. But for the donut, it's fine. Let's render it again. Kill the stream. That's looking really subsurfacey. A little too subsurfacey, really. Materials, subsurface, reduce that a bit. Stop grabbing things, just click them. Okay. A bit more of a pinky sort of white hue in the subsurface scattering. Yeah, can I? I'm gonna have to Google this. Choose the best render settings. Choose. I mean, where does it say this? Okay, that's it. So render at 50%. Let's try that. Okay, so that renders a lot faster. This is now an ASMR stream. Okay. It's so blurry. Let's try adjusting some more stuff. Like, I'll split the view again. Get off the camera mode. Put this somewhere else. Oh. Yeah, let's switch back to move cursor because this is just so used to just hitting it and going. It's much nicer. closer to the front of the camera. Like I could light it from the front. Let's try that. Hey, that's not bad. How do I set zoom to 100%? Riddle me that. It's probably about that. Okay, I like it.
Just for this, it's really simple to do. We're going to hit Shift A, same hotkey as the viewport. And
Let's try what he's doing, because I mean, he's not wrong. Pink on pink looks pretty good. Yeah, you know what? I don't like it. Let's try the lighter green. Still, I want lighter. I mean darker. It's a mint green. Very nice.
we're going to add in a denoiser node. And since this is so new, I actually just realized I don't even know which menu it's under, but you can do a search. You can type in denoise. So with this, all we need to do is take the output of the noisy image.
I'm going to skip through the denoising part because I don't have this.
Normal, the purple goes in the purple, and then the denoising albedo goes into the albedo. And then we take that and we put that into the composite input right there. Now, when we do that, if we were to hit F11, F11, by the way, is the hotkey to bring up the old render, the most recent render. Nothing has actually changed because when you do, I don't know why they changed this symbol, it really annoyed me. Like, it won't actually affect the final render unless it's viewable as you're using the compositor. You could do another render right now and it would actually kick into gear. But in order to, like, if I don't want to have to do another render, I can just go to the image editor down here, set this to render result. And then, if I take this out and put this back in, it will actually refresh it, do the full render, and now, control space, by the way, will maximize any view that your mouse is over. So control space, bring that up, and now, as we zoom in, you can see it's cleared up all that noise as if it were magic. And it's really, really powerful, this Intel denoiser.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know, it will work on even AMD processors, as far as I know. Maybe that will change in the future. I don't know when Intel catches on to what the AMD users are up to.
I do have it if I turn on...
Blender had a denoiser previously, and I did it quite immediately. Like, it was easier to use, but it was really, like, didn't do anywhere near as good a result as this. So, yeah.
Right, so I'm going to have to go back now, because I actually do... maybe have this feature.
For beginners, tutorial, it's a little advanced, but we're going to go to the compositor. So this compositor tab along the top there. And this is, it's everything that's going to happen to your render after 56, right? 256 samples. That would kind of like double the render time. And you can do that in this Intel 8 this version from the Blender Builder website. Blender 2.81 has a denoiser in it.
See, I don't think I have
Intel
this yet.
AI denoiser. And the way you use it is you go to your layer panel first, and you make sure you turn on denoising data.
Okay.
To do that, you have to do another render, so we'll do that quickly. There we go. And then once the render is finished, we're going to go, and this is, for beginners, tutorial, a little advanced, but we're going to go to the compositor. So this compositor tab along the top there.
All right, let's try it. Compositor tab. Okay, compositing. Got it. Okay. Oh, was I rendering in... oh, no wonder it looked bad. I was rendering in bloody... I was rendering in Eevee and it was slow. This is Cycles and it's unfathomably slow. And so I'm dropping some frames, I think. Okay. So I suppose I'll keep watching while this thinks.
And this
says optimistically.
Is, it's everything that's going to happen to your render after a render is finished. And what you can do in here is you could add in nodes that do things. You could add glow, glare, you can do all sorts of things. Color grading, everything can happen in here. And it's a little advanced, but just follow me for just this part, and later on in the future levels we'll talk more about using nodes properly. But just for this, it's really simple to do. We're going to hit Shift A, same hotkey as the viewport, and we're going to add in a denoiser node. And since this is so new, I actually just realized I don't even know which menu it's under, but you can do a search. You can type in denoise. So with this, all we need to do is take the output of the, noisy image, put that into the image part, the denoising normal, the purple goes in the purple, and then the denoising albedo goes into the albedo. And then we take that.
Okay, so
and we put that into the composite. It's on denoising data. And then when you do that, you have to do another render. It's everything that's going to happen to your render after a render is finished. And what you can do in here is you could add in, and then once the render is finished, we're going to go, and this is, for beginners tutorials a little advanced, but we're going to go to the compositor. So this compositor tab along the top there. And this is, it's everything that's going to happen to your render after a render is finished. And what you can do in
I see nothing. Yes, I'm on 2.8, so I don't think I have this. So I'm just going to turn off denoising data and switch back to Eevee and switch back to my layout view.
in here is you could add in node render, and now
I know all about denoising.
Donut look.
Okay, so we're done.
Thank you for watching. Go ahead and share it with your friends if you found this helpful and help them get into Blender. But I hope you will continue the rest of this series as we add in sprinkles. We'll learn about particles. We'll learn about displacement, making the donut look more like textured, bumpy donuts, adding in bumps, as well as texture painting, painting on textures, and then doing precise.
I want to finish with. So this is running Eevee. So I want to finish with cycles. How do I view the? Oh, he says in there somewhere turn off cycles. Jesus, no. It's just going to be an Eevee donut.
Precise modeling for the coffee cup, and then final renders and animation as well to the end. So it's a big series, and it's designed to give you that full scope of what you're going to need to know in Blender. So I hope you will join me in the next level. Go ahead and click here if you're ready to start watching now.
Yeah, I want to know how to reopen that window before we finish.
To the albedo. And then we take that and we put that into the composite input right there. Now, when we do that, if we were to hit F11, F11, by the way, is a hotkey to bring up the old render, the most recent render. Nothing has actually changed because...
Okay, so thank you, F11. So if I switch rendering engine to cycles, really the render, it's taking bloody forever.
I don't know why they changed this in Blender, it really annoyed me. Like, it won't actually affect the final render unless it's viewable as you're using the compositor. You could do another render right now and it would actually kick into gear. But in order to, like, if I don't want to have to do another render, I can just go to the image editor down here, set this to render result, and then if I take this out and put this back in, it will actually refresh it, do the full render, and now, control space, by the way, will make maximize any view that your mouse is over. So control space, bring that up, and now as we zoom in, you can see it's cleared up all that noise as if it were magic. And it's really, really powerful, this Intel denoiser. And as far as I know, it will work on even AMD processors, as far as I know. Maybe that will change in the future. I don't know when Intel catches on to what the AMD users are up to. But it's really, really super impressive. Blender had a denoiser previously, and it did it quite immediately. Like, it was easier to use, but it was really, like, didn't do anywhere near as good a result as this. So, yeah. There we go, guys. So that is the end of level 1. You made it. Yay! So, thank you for watching. Go ahead and share it with your friends if you found this helpful and help them get into Blender. But I hope you will continue the rest of this series as we add in sprinkles. We'll learn about particles. We'll learn about displacement, making the donut look more like textured, bumpy donuts, adding in bumps, as well as texture painting, painting on textures, and then doing precise modeling for the coffee cup, and then final renders and animation as well to the end. So it's a big series, and it's designed to give you that full scope of what you're going to need to know in Blender. So I hope you will join me in the next level. Go ahead and click here if you're ready to start watching now.
All right, so I think I'm probably going to wrap up after this. I'll come on to part 2 later in another stream. Okay, so we got that. And then I can hit F11 to bring it up. Don't hit F12 and redo that render, it's so slow. Okay, now compositing. Use nodes, all right. But of course, we're going to have the same problem, and that is, well, for starters, we rendered that whole thing without the denoising data. Did we? All right, well, let's try it again.
Yes, all we need to do is take the output of the, noisy image.
Noisy image.
The image part, the denoising normal, the purple goes in the purple, and then the denoising albedo goes into the albedo. And then we take that, and we put that into the composite input right there. Now, when we do that, if we were to hit F11, F11, by the way, is a hotkey.
Yeah, so I think I'm missing this.
I don't even know which menu it's under, but you can do a search. You can type in denoise. So, with this, all we need to do is take the output of the, noisy image.
Yeah, so I don't have it, which is fine. We'll just do it next time. You know, here's the thumbnail. Let's, save it. How do I save this? Is it Control S? Alt S. That's right. Save image. I think we saved it. Let's have a look. I never use my documents, so hey, look at that. All right. So I can use cycles. I just need to use Eevee occasionally because, you know. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're done. So thank you for watching. This has been a thrilling little run through the Blender tutorial series by Blender Guru. Great channel, worth watching. And I'll come back later on and do